SharkyBreath.
He plays video games.
Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. Last time we talked to Morel, the cryptozoologist, for a good bit, and it seems like he's going to go home while we check on his traps. But I haven't yet talked to Gary, his seemingly reluctant partner, who his text box thing says he's a cryptofascist, which I admit I'd never actually seen that term before. It was pointed out to me in the comments that it just means someone who is secretly a fascist and who kind of doesn't come up front and tell you that he is. But also, Harry seems to be thinking about something, so let's see what Harry's got in mind. It's almost impossible to get a fire going this near to the ocean. That makes sense, come to think on it. Yeah, a lot of wind, a lot of extra moisture, tides and whatnot. Yeah, that would seem to make sense. Well, I don't actually know anything about it. But apparently, maybe Harry does. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk to this guy. Hi there. I'm sure you're going to be a delight.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer.
Interesting how you talk entirely out of your nose.
Yellow
Continue.
man. I mean, officer.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. You know, I was thinking, since he's called the Cryptofacist, that maybe he would have an ounce of subtlety, but apparently I was wrong. Also, your picture doesn't look anything like you. Is this like an old photo? Can you do that? Can you use an old photo as your identification picture in a game like this? I don't know. Anyway, I guess let's continue. We're committed now.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook.
Seems like an appropriate response.
Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
I suppose, yeah. Maybe he wants to see the stinking mug.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
He quickly changes the subject. Not a lover of the great outdoors? Yeah, I'm more of a city boy too. Leave! A compelling option. Not a lover of the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
So I got the drunks covered and you got the degenerates? Cool. Continue.
Degenerates. This man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
I am neither of those things, I can assure you. I'm a by-the-books, clean-as-a-whistle officer of the law. I'm not even tempted to touch intoxicants. Drunks and degenerates, that's my crew. Sadly, I think I might be a drunk or a degenerate. Maybe even both. Nobody's perfect. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink. Drama Brain wants me to pretend I don't drink. What possible good would that do us, exactly? Also, why would I want this guy to like me, exactly? Drunks and degenerates, that's my crew. I mean, that's a little more proud than I tend to play it. I think I might be a drunk or a degenerate, maybe even both.
Dark times will do that to good men.
He nods gravely, then shifts his gaze to the pile of soggy logs at his feet. Do you know anything about the man hanging behind the whirling rags? Is this your mug? Are you a cryptozoologist too? You were surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Well, first off, are you a cryptozoologist?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
I suppose. Also, why do you have a placard behind your head that makes it look like you're... It's like one of those saint rings from old what do they call it? When it's the decorated illustrations for sacred books. There's a word for it, and it's escaping my brain because my brain is sleepy. Do you know anything about the man hanging behind the whirling rags?
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
He nods in sincere approval. Yeah, it did take a while, huh? Funny about that. Continue.
So you do know something about it?
Seems like it.
No. Nothing.
Uh-huh.
He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it.
He shakes
That's
his...
all.
Oh, sorry, I started in too early there. Sorry, Gary. He shakes his head emphatically, then corrects his tie. It corrects his tie? Based on this, it looks like his collar is open. I don't even... Is there a tie? I don't know. Whatever. He corrected some sort of phantom tie. Continue.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange.
I seem to notice that about a lot of people, don't I? Your clothes don't fit very well, do they? I might comment on it later, I guess. Continue.
He didn't kill him or anything, but there's something going on here.
Yeah, there seems to be. You were surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail. I meant no offense, truly.
He meant no offense by saying Yellow Man. Yeah, sure. I buy that. Immediately. Why wouldn't I? He's also not a Sailite. Continue.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next racist will be a really good one?
Yes, I do remember that. I think so. Sorry, as you know, I've been having problems with my memory. I remember. Yes.
Well, this is that racist.
He gestures towards Gary as though he were presenting a work of art. Yes, our lucky racist. Will you grant us 3 wishes, Gary? Are you Gary? Are you a racist? No, are you Gary? Are you a racist? I don't know. I like the previous racist better. He is nothing compared to Measurehead. I'm going along with the joke. Our lucky racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact.
He blushes. Interesting response. Is it like flushing? Is he just embarrassed? Or is he angry? It didn't sound like he was angry. Do you have a problem with Sailites? The lieutenants are native of Revachol. Yes, what are they doing in that sail of theirs? Scheming. The lieutenant is Revacholian. We've been over this. I mean, you haven't, but screw you.
Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections.
He flashes an impenetrable smile.
Let's change the subject, okay?
Instead of changing the subject, let's hammer the subject some more. Is this your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
You said Yellow Man. That's not something many people go around saying. It seemed as if you were calling out to it longingly when you cried Yellow Man. I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes. Oh, man. There's no way this is... I mean, I knew this was going to get awkward as soon as I brought it up, of course. But, like, we're trying to put him on the spot. And here's me getting embarrassed about what I'm doing. I'm going to do the second one. It seemed like you were calling out to it longingly as you cried Yellow Man.
Oh, no, that's not... Why would I be calling to a broken mug?
Still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of a lynching? All right, I believe you. You look like the kind of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer. This is probably the point I'm trying to get at. It was found at the scene of a lynching. It's true.
Okay, I admit it.
What?
I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer.
He pauses. Okay, is he... He knew it was in the trash. I didn't tell him that. It actually was Gary that threw away this mug? I was right? Continue?
You're not going to find me, are you?
I am rip out a fine slip for 20 real. I am rip out a fine slip for 100 real. I am rip out a fine slip for 250 real, the maximum. Nah, Gary, I just want information. Oh, man. I like money, though. Oh, shoot. I like money and making racists squirm, man. I feel like if I find him for maybe 20 real, he might actually just pay it to me right now. If I went for 100 or 250, maybe someone would see that eventually. But I feel like I wouldn't be the one who saw it. One doesn't normally carry that much around, I have to assume, although I don't honestly know how it works. And I do just want information, and it is going to make him hostile if I find him, but, like, money. I don't need it as much these days, but I do like it. And I recognize this is an incredibly corrupt discussion that I'm having in my brain right now. Incredibly so. Is 20 real reasonable? He threw away a mug in a non-public trash can. I do want information. I want information. Am I going to be bypassing the information by finding him? I don't know. I don't have my... Wait, I don't have my clipboard equipped. Is that going to be a problem? Usually if I try and do something without the tool necessary, it's going to get mad at me. Is that going to be a problem? It's not a check. Let's just find him.
Okay, I deserve that. And I won't do it again. You have my word.
He accepts the slip of copy paper with a bow. Great. Okay, cool. I probably don't get the money. Whatever, it's fine.
I don't know what got into me. Stuffing my garbage in another man's property, I've been having trouble at work lately. The Koikos are price dumping us out of competition.
Oh, cool. You used that term, too. I've heard some other people use that. Guess who they were? Continue.
What did you do, Gary?
Don't worry about it, Morel. It's fine.
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
How did you get into the trash container? Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling in rags, into that trash container? I mean, that's the operative question, right? He put the mug in there, but someone put this in there. How'd you get into the trash container? That seems important. Let's ask that first before coming to the actual point of it. I hope it gives me the opportunity later.
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Huh. Well, that's a thing. Why would you need to get into everyone's trash?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Bohemians run it like a mob.
I'm guessing that's also a racist thing you just said? He says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight. Continue.
I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
This guy apologizes a lot, but I'm not sure he means it. Continue.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and looks up. Continue.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
We're back to it. Did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling in rags, into that trash container? Gary?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
He raises both hands. I mean, so that's not a no. Do explain that. Yes, Gary. What do you got?
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Yes, what happened? Okay, then what happened? What's the difference? Is there a difference here? Yes, I guess that's kind of an impatient option. No, okay, then what happened? I don't think it matters.
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly.
He changes his mind mid-sentence. Was this where he changed his mind about whether or not he mentions the mug? Okay. So he came up and cleaned up the crime scene, unprompted. Apparently, the stuff lying on the ground around the hanged man bothered him enough to clean it up, even though he couldn't do anything about the corpse in his... the view is already ruined, Gary. This doesn't really add up. Continue.
Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes, too.
Okay, so he did throw away the clothing of the hanging victim. Cool. Why? Continue.
Right. It was just civic duty.
The lieutenant remarks drolly. Indeed.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
He did not pick up on the droll note. Continue.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where?
Is he wearing part of the armor? Does he have the shirt of the armor on? What's that strange sound? You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you? I've got the gloves. The pants went with the corpse. They're gone. The head apparently was kicked into the ocean by Kuno. That just leaves the torso. What's that sound?
What sound?
That clinking I just heard when you moved. Don't mess with me. I think you know what I'm talking about. That clinking I just heard when you moved. That's fine.
Really?
He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless.
There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby.
Did I need to push him harder? Did I choose the wrong option? I don't know. Continue.
Every day, the wind shifts the reeds and whatever was left in them. Tambourines and condom wrappers, plastic and glass bottles. The smell of decay.
The smell of decay. I mean, I feel like that's kind of an ever-present thing around here. There's a lot of decay going on of one sort or another. Continue.
The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned.
You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you now, Gary?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
He changes his mind about to what degree he wishes to lie to me today. Continue.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing.
Uh-huh. Continue.
There's something going on here. You should observe it more closely after this topic is concluded.
How? Oh, let's move on for now. For whatever reason, I thought that if I chose the last option, I was exiting this conversation. Okay, let's move on for now then. Conclude.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
He's visibly relieved that it's over. Composure check. Legendary 14. Why is he shifting around like that? Analyze Gary's composure. Can I change clothes and get back in here, Gary? Thank you for your cooperation. It's a white check. You may retry it. Icosahedral red die is on me, so I get a plus to it. So the dice just give you pluses to various things around the world. Kind of like the amber die would have given me a plus to ask that one woman on a date, but I felt like that would be exceedingly awkward. But who knows, maybe it's something I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. Thank you for your cooperation, Gary. I'm coming back at you in just a second here. Think it's going to be much longer? Asks Gary. I have no idea, Gary. Composure. Composure. What do I have that gives me composure? Nothing right now is buffing my composure. Do I have anything that possibly gives me any composure? It seems like the answer to that question may very well be no. Apparently the answer is no. Well, fine. How is it that my composure has escaped all impact from my clothing, I wonder? No idea. Composure, there it is. 4. Nothing impacts my composure. But I have a lot of skill points. I mean, I could... Well, if I fail it, I guess I could just boost it and try again. But I had a decent chance of succeeding, so why don't we just try it? Why don't we just...
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
Have you ever uttered anything that wasn't a lie?
I mean, officers.
He turns towards Kim. You are the worst. I mean, you're not the worst. There are some terrible people around here, but you're giving them a run for their monies. Monies? Why is he shifting like that,
Is he?
Dang it.
He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads. Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes?
These are sure some options. Gary, are you cross-dressing by any chance? Are those prayer beads I keep hearing? Are you currently sporting some anal beads? Right. Well, those are certainly some options. Well, let's see. He's a bigot, so this will make him uncomfortable. This one he would probably actually be like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I'm a very religious man. I don't know what he would say if I said this. I don't know if he could manage to splutter any words out at all. But I could certainly see myself getting some future minuses on interactions with Gary if I were to go this direction with it. Let's go with making him uncomfortable, but not that uncomfortable, okay? Are you cross-dressing, Gary?
Why would I do that, officer?
To feel closer to the fair sex. Ain't no shame in it, man. Because you're a dangerous subversive, obviously. Let's do this one.
But, officer, I'm not wearing any women's clothes.
He shakes his head slowly. I mean, fair point. That's a fair point. I thought we were talking about maybe like underneath your clothes, you know, like an underlayer for your own satisfaction thing. I don't know. I don't know, man. Put skill points into composure to open this white check. Well, fine. Fine. I'm sure we can catch up with Gary on that particular matter later. He's got the armor. I know he does. I know he does. People are just scared of the truth, says Gary. Yes, I'm sure. That must be it. Good observation, Gary. Hey, cool. $50 or a real, whatever. It's not 20, but, you know, maybe I'll see that someday. Who knows? A buoy bobs in the water. The number on it says 11. All right. Well, what's this? I know it is, but tell me anyway. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes, crumbling. Gotcha. Wonderful. I'm just saying, as a Revacholian, I'm slightly worried. Is that how you got your reputation of being a crypto-fascist? Is just by the things you casually say to nobody at all while you're hanging out on the beach? That's a decision you could make. Why don't I would like to check out this structure over here. I would like to check out this structure here. How do I get up there? Is this a ramp? It is a ramp. It is indeed. A soil ramp. Very good. All right, well, what do we have here? Bars cover these long, dusty windows.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
Try to see inside. Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside? Point at the windows. Finished thought. Let's try it first. My perception should be ostensibly pretty good. I feel like I can make it a little better than it is right now, but... Try to see inside.
Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase.
Continue.
There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Okay. Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside? Point at the windows.
No. I won't even try. You know...
He takes his glasses off. The windows rattle in their frames also. Continue.
I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Ah, got it. Your vision is... I see. I knew your vision was impaired, but I didn't realize it was quite so bad. All right. Can you still shoot, though? Just nod finished thought. I mean, we've seen him shoot. I guess it's good to actually inquire about it in case it comes up again. Can you still shoot, though?
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I pass my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
That's not terrible. End. Okay, cool. Well, good to know. Good to know. Necessity-driven architectural design at its finest. You're telling your child about this? Let me have a look at it first before I discuss this with you, because I don't understand why you're doing that in the first place.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D.
Well, it specifically says research and development in French, but, you know, sure, whatever you want to call it. Continue.
A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
I cannot see where it says that. I can see a bunch of words down here, but I don't think that's what it says. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Lieutenant raises the collar of his bomber jacket. That was a very hard-boiled thing to say, Kim. Also, your collar of your bomber jacket is already up, but perhaps this is the after picture. Turn away. Great. So let's talk to this guy. They must have great things to say about this particular mural.
Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles. Trent Heidelstam. Okay. Continue.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Trent Heidelstam.
Aha.
You must be Kim Kisuragi, right?
Aha.
I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. very rich in hypertext.
He turns to the lieutenant to say the thing about noticing that he's Kim Kitsuragi. How did he recognize Kim, I wonder? Who is this guy? Continue.
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Hold on, hypertext. Wait, what was that about the windows before? You and Kim know each other. Let's do the whole hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young cop and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He says as if it's self-evident. Wait, what was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
Huh, okay, so engineering decisions based on utilitarian reasons. Fair enough. You and Kim know each other? Proceed?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hands on the boy's shoulders. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book. Worm-themed? Like dragons? There's an umlaut here. Don't think I didn't notice that. Continue.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Worms. Gotcha. Okay. Radio computer. You know stuff about those. I have a radio computer thingy. That's relevant. Continue.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
Seems that way. Continue.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again. Right. Continue.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Are you feeling threatened, Encyclopedia? This guy knows a bunch of trivia, and therefore you have to just speak up with absolutely everything you know about what he just said that he didn't mention. What's so fascinating about an empty building? You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? Great, thank you for all the interesting information. I am curious what's so fascinating about this empty old building. It seems a little dismissive the way I'm wording it, but we'll see what he has to say.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you. All right?
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Cybernetics. Huh. Although it is kind of funny that he says, this used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical, and not a lot of people know this, despite the fact that it says so right here. Anyway, look at the building looming over you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket. I also don't remember anything, and that may or may not be relevant. Continue.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era.
I'm not retaining any of this. Continue.
Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
He gestures towards the building and grins as he mixed his metaphors. What was that ace exactly? Very interesting. Let's get back to this later. Now, what was the ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a
He pauses
tape
for effect.
computer.
We didn't pause for very long for effect. Tape computer. A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer,
I see. Continue.
which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN, and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. Interesting observation there. Continue.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
What happened?
Indeed. What?
You do, like, he delivers his lines like a lecturing professor. He does. Continue.
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve. Mikhail Heidelstam, possibly. Continue.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building. Which other one? This one here? This one here? Probably that one there. Then continues. All right.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk. Look under your feet. What happens to the engineers, the company people? What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers? How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers? I wanted to ask something else. Sure, let's discuss. The boardwalk, they built this?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
What's a pleasure wheel, Trant? What's a pleasure wheel? Is it okay? Hang on. Is it like a Ferris wheel? Is that what we're talking about? Continue.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky. That definitely sounds like a Ferris wheel.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
Well, what if you like reeds? Then it would be attractive enough and to begin with. No, I get it. I understand. I'm sorry, I'm just being a butt about it. What happened to the engineers, the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys.
He smiles again.
But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Right. Hang on. He smiles again, as if he's somehow personally responsible for this bleak turn of events. Kim mentioned this when we were inspecting the bullet holes, that the guys in the R&D building nearby got executed. I remember now. Tape computers, continue.
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Turn to Mikhail. He means they all died at the hands of the communists. Tape computers, right. Well, that's not going to win me any points with anybody. How old is Mikhail? Not very old. Like, if I were to say this, right, Trant would be upset. Mikhail would probably be upset if he's been sheltered from this sort of thing. Kim would probably be upset as well. Listen, just go with it. Tape computers, right?
Tape computers.
He nods, wind tousling his suit jacket. What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
He says, while his son looks up, idly chewing on the corner of his worm-themed, coloring book. What was that? The thing you just mentioned.
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
I see. So that's when the communist revolution attempt started officially? Continue?
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
Right. Continue.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombessier d'Insolente. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree.
Is that so? Continue.
I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book. Continue.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Yeah, I doubt there's much here of interest to Mikhail. I probably could have shifted that up if I'd told him about them getting murdered and all that, but, I wasn't willing to take the risk, and so be it. How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant. exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
Oh boy, here we go.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje.
The what now?
It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team. Trying to...
I don't know what any of this means, but I got off the train at Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. What? Continue?
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center?
He did. Yes, continue.
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Okay, the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center, Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juiced. What are you talking about? My encyclopedia has no idea. You might be making things up. Call him out.
The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
There it is again, those words. You're making this up. Turn to Lieutenant Kim. Is he making this up? Come on. There's no place called the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center of Arts. So it's not so much a question of if we're calling him out, more a question of how we're calling him out. Kim, is he making this up?
In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
He clears his throat. He also said that casually. In fact, he's not making it up. I gained a thought, though. Wompty Dumpty Dum Center. Continue?
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Handwriting? How do you even keep your handwriting in high enough control to be able to have it be used by a machine like that? I don't even know. Continue.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Nod. Cool. Pfft, I've seen cooler things than that. The RCM should get some of those. I'm just gonna nod and say cool. Sounds good.
Very, very cool.
He agrees.
Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
I wonder why they executed the engineers here specifically. Just because they represented a certain kind of change they didn't like, or what? Wait, the failed playback experiment. Why did the revolutionaries destroy it? I see, I can just ask that question rather than speculating. First, tell me about the failed playback experiment.
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Felt Playback Experience, but those are incorrect.
Well, thank you for that. Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
He takes a step back. The boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I have a suspicion that this guy's like this a lot. It may be just that we're in the presence of architecture that gets him particularly excited. But this guy feels like he's my encyclopedia brain with no checks on it. I mean, yeah, he's got more conversational grace than I do. So it's not just the encyclopedia brain portion, but it seems like he just has it turned on at full blast all the time. I wanted to ask something else.
But of course, what else?
He smiles and ruffles his kid's head. I want to hear about the Feldwheeling building again. No, I'm good. You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? Great, thank you for all the interesting information. So those are the only 2 things I can ask him about are the Feld building and if he has money. Do you?
I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all. Continue.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Could I have some of that unimportant money, then? I don't want your money. I just wanted to see whether my profiling skills were working. So this is the idea of dismissing the idea of asking for money. It's not like reverse psychology that will get him to pay me. So therefore, can I have some of your unimportant money?
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms.
He looks uncomfortable, his left hand squeezing his son's shoulder. Continue.
I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise to carry huge amounts of cash on such expeditions.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Continue.
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
I suppose I would believe it. By the way, do you work out? That's a new option. Sure, let's pursue it. Do you work out? Do you lift, bro?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now and then.
So that's a very yes. Continue.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island of Lo Mantang. It uses slender wooden sticks for confronting the opponent.
Uh-huh. A form of martial arts from the Isle of Lomantang, right? I mean, this right here? Yes, my encyclopedia chimed in about this, but this right here? He told me he does Lomantang stick fighting now and then. That's just taking the same sentence and flipping it backwards and being like this, right? I'm not really interested in the practice. I just want to know how often you work out now and then. That's what? Like once a week? I have nowhere near the amount of physical instrument necessary to be calling this guy out on how often he works out. In any case, sure. Martial arts from Lomantang, right?
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harli people. A name deriving from the butterfruit tree traditionally used for crafting the long, slender sticks, whereas the sticks used in other cultures...
You just actually'd me. I mean, of course you did. I don't know what I was thinking using an encyclopedia check against an encyclopedia man. Continue.
You doze off as he paints you a comprehensive picture of the history of stick fighting among mankind, seasoning it with unexpected pop culture references.
Not unexpected enough, clearly. Continue.
Man, he's good at speaking. People must love him.
That seems likely. Continue.
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying?
He says after a while with a charming, apologetic smile. I don't really remember what I was saying. So are we actually going to ask how often he works out? I mean, that was what I was asking in the first place, right? We could abandon it here. I have an out. I'm not really interested in the practice. I just want to know how often you work out. Sure. Why don't we just ask?
Lomantang stick fighting is a little like a Berolidin addiction. I've been practicing it for nearly 20 years now, so you could say that my doses have grown a little peculiar.
What I was going to say is, I have a little bit of knowledge about Berolidin addiction, even if I can't pronounce the word. He explains with a little smile. Indeed, he does. So what is it? Twice a week, then? Every other day? Man, it is difficult to stay on the right topic with you. Well, I can't not call him out at this point, so let's go with it.
Dad's fighting with sticks every night after dinner for 4 hours.
4 hours?
He has a special room for that, and a special costume.
Wow, suddenly little Mikhail opens up his mouth. Yeah, I can understand why you'd want to talk about that, Mikhail.
That's right, Mikhail. It also has a meditative quality. Helps to clear my head. But anyway...
Trent grabs his kid into a single-handed embrace, looking slightly embarrassed, and says that, swaying with his hand. Swaying with his hand. Do you mean swaying his hand? He sort of gestures with his hand and I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you for all the interesting information, Trent.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
That was an outright lie. I said nothing. Continue.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
I mean, that's what I was saying too. Okay, cool. Thanks, Trant. That sure was something. All right. Well, let's go, raid the ruins while they're standing there looking at that mural. What's this? Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. Box. $1. Okay. And this gate? The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Okay, but we have grates here. 2 of them. Let's pry them open, because why not? Ooh, Nosafet. Very nice, thank you. And in here? $5! Wow! Amazing! All right, cool. Well, this has been edifying for sure. I have a thought that I need to look into. Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. Explain. -1 suggestion outsider. It only takes 42 minutes to research. Huh. It's Wednesday evening, and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. Oh, excuse me. 29-year-old Wunder twins, Guy and Keith Joost, are the stars of the show, with their bomber jackets and white sneakers, head curators of this art exhibition. It's the Wompty Dumpty Dummiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSPV'd. Not RSVP'd, but RSPV'd. Where are you if you're not there? Why am I acting like I know what the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is, if I had no idea about it just a minute ago? It's a very quick research, and it puts a minus into something I already stink at. Curious. All these thoughts. Why can't I have a bigger cabinet? Why isn't this plus a real thing? I know, because it's just the format of the page. It's made to look like a piece of overlay film, essentially, I think, for a projector or something like that. Motorix learning caps raised by 1, 20% zoom out distance. Is there even a reason to keep it around? I don't know. I need to think about it. Okay, let's go around the back of this building, see if there's anything there. Seeing as I'm up on this structure, whatever it is, let's, well, I shouldn't say whatever it is. I just got an earful of what exactly it is, but you know what I mean. There's a door here, but I can't seem to enter it. Wait. Stairs. There's a way in. Somewhere around here, there's a way in. Huh. I wonder where it is. Okay, we've got... Would that be the jacket? That could very well be the jacket. Quick travel unlocked. Church! I'm at the church! I made it to the church. I'm here. Quick travel. Lovely. Alright, cool. Before I check that out, though, there was stuff down here. Let's check that out first. Okay, we got... Someone must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome. It must have taken effort, I'd imagine. And what's this?
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
Who would I even call? Whose numbers do I know? Pick up the handset.
You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable.
Okay, he just said you hear the tone, the machine is inoperable, but this says it's operable. Cost 10 cents, put 10 cents in, and dial a random number. 00524033155. It's 10 cents. Am I prank calling somebody? Is that what I'm doing?
Calling.
Continue?
Still calling.
Uh-huh.
This feels wrong. Should you be doing this?
It wasn't a random number, was it? It wasn't a random number, was it? Continue.
End of tone. Someone picks up.
Someone picks up.
Pierre? Is that you, Pierre?
The voice is female and sounds about 100 years old. Yes, it's me, Pierre. I might be. What's Pierre like? No, this is not Pierre. Hang up. I might be. What's Pierre like?
So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died.
What kind of pets did you have? That's not good. It gets lonely even when you're with people. What kind of pets did you have?
Are you sure you're Pierre? Your voice, it's different. There. Chrysanthemum.
I'm really not sure I am, Pierre. Continue.
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing a beach, growing in volume until the call suddenly disconnects.
Continue?
You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant Kitsuragi overheard you. To your relief, he did not.
I could dial another random number if I wished. I'm not going to do that right now because I feel like that was haunted just now. Leave. Chrysanthemum. Well, that's something to bear in mind if I run into a period of time that I just have some time to blow and some money as well to blow. A dead phone, smashed like a smashed receiver, like someone hung up too hard. Okay. Some kind of a phone center. You should come back here when it snows. A strange feeling. It passes quickly. Here? Here. Where's here? There's a... Oh. Is that the church? Is that the church over there? That is absolutely the church over there. Okay, the church is its whole own thing. Let's go check out that jacket. Let's go check out that jacket. I'm not ready to be dealing with the church just yet. I don't know much about it, but I know it's going to be a whole thing. Jacket.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Touch it. Touch it.
The cloth, if you can still call it that, makes a soft crunching sound as you thrust your finger into it.
Take a closer look, and possibly some morale damage.
It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth.
I was thinking. Continue.
It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Uh-huh. Continue.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
I think this is the jacket that Idiot Doom Spiral guy wanted me to find. Why not? It might be a clue. I don't know that it is. He said he stole a nice jacket. This is probably not it. And I'm guessing if I say this, Kim's going to be like, no. This is a piece of garbage. But I'm going to ask anyway.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have it returned.
Lieutenant looks at the stinking rag and sniffs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he would be thrilled. Let's look around just in case this isn't the one. You never know. Hey, look, money and tear. Beautiful. All right, so what is that? It's like a mysterious diamond thing. What is it? Huh? Postcard. Kuron 33. Sure. Items. This one has hell written on its back. It could not be further from the truth. It's the boom years, and Kuron, the nicest district in Revachol West, is enjoying a sun-drenched day. Tall and handsome buildings rise from the riverside. Steel, iron, and yellow limestone with cloud shadows sliding on the facades. So it's about as nice as this place gets, and someone wrote hell on it. Maybe it's just because of what it's become later? Who could say? The person who wrote it. Who knows who that is? What's this thing? It's like the other one, but not quite. It's red. A coin-operating weighing machine. It hasn't been used for a decade. A weighing machine. For weighing... Oh, is it the fish market? I'm at the fish market. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. Cindy? Mega Beano's prescription lenses. +2 encyclopedia, -1 perception. Okay, let me have a look at that. Seeing as I just sort of pick up anything I find, ever. Whose idiotic ideas were square and beige plastic frames anyway? Beige is a color that does not look good on anyone. Not to mention that seeing the world through these exceedingly thick lenses feels almost nauseating. +2, encyclopedia, discover your inner bino. -1 perception, nausea-inducing hell glasses. My encyclopedia doesn't need a whole lot of assistance these days, but I suppose if I need to make an encyclopedia check of some sort, I could just load up here. Just look like the totalist nerd that you ever did see. But, good for just now, thank you. What's this? A makeshift route. Vagrants have tried to make the boardwalk habitable. That tarp will keep out neither rain, nor snow, nor wind. It is the opposite of the postal service. There is money. Let me have the money. I would like the money. Hello there, I'm here for your money. When I get done with this place, there will be no more money stashed around, and that's just the way it is. We have a tank. Much like the one I found in my own car that I destroyed. A big wine canister. It's open and empty. Wine canister. I see. And over here? What have we over here? The Ferris wheel. The pleasure wheel. I don't know why I was so confused about it being a possibility when it's right there on the map. Oh, we got lots of stuff. What's this?
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
Hold on, that is awful. Cover your nose. What is it? Isn't it just rotting fish? Cover your nose seems like you're going to not lean into it, and I want to lean into it. What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that.
Is this man dead? Continue.
Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear.
Uh-huh, I suppose you'd know, Half-Light.
It is death. It must be.
Kim, what's that smell? Heads up, Lieutenant. Something's not right here. That one.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose.
I wish I could use the handkerchief you gave me for that same purpose, Kim. What's this? Careful there, these floorboards look rotten and weak. Cool. That's a dead guy. There's just a dead guy. Just started hanging out here.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
I'm stalling. Examine the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find.
Okay, give them to me.
No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
Then why is it worth noticing? I want money, dang it. Continue.
A tragedy.
Lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell. Examine the cigarette package.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
How can you tell that the person who tossed it here was a heavy smoker? Continue.
Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content.
Thank you for filling me in, Encyclopedia. Examine the kebab wrapper.
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol.
Have I seen a place like that? Continue.
It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet.
It's probably just as well. That combining with the, the smell of human rot would be quite something. Continue.
It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief.
Leave. What's this? This coin-operated viewer has been out of order for years. Okay. All right. Hi.
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper.
A chewing gum wrapper. And evidence that he was an alcoholic. And the portrait doesn't look like his face. That's not uncommon, but the portrait almost looks just a little bit like me. Just a little bit. Working class corpse. Continue.
Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad puppet.
The fall. Like he slipped on the boardwalk. Did he die from the fall? Did he hit his head on this bench and die from that? Continue.
The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Yeah, for sure. Continue.
Hold on.
The lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. 2 bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life. Continue.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
He stands up and shivers as a gust of wind blows through his bomber jacket. Sure, investigation. Continue.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Study the man's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest.
It was his kebab. Continue.
The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom-made.
Search his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Sea air, I suppose. Continue.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
Yeah, sure. Study the man himself.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole.
Continue.
A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark.
I would imagine that's true. What was he doing here in the dark? Examine his face.
His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze.
They do, and they also appear to be staring right at me, which is fun. Continue.
Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years.
Uh-huh. Study the surroundings.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
I sure hope it's not apricot scented. Continue.
Be very, very careful where you step here.
Examine the man's head.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch.
Even through the armored gauntlets. Continue.
This is what killed him.
Presumably, yes. Continue.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
No, just this one at the back of his head.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
That would seem to do it. Examine the bottle.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Continue.
Tear all around us.
He looks at the other bottles. He looks at 2 other bottles near the coin-operated viewer, then at your yellow plastic bag. Continue.
I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
Yeah, I understand. Examine the chewing gum wrapper. I wonder if that means I could collect them if Kim left, but that would mean that I'd have to come here by myself at night. And that seems dumb. Examine the chewing gum wrapper.
Rubowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Oh boy, are we looking into another mouth of a corpse? We're doing it. Look in.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too.
Continue.
Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
He just shoved the entire thing in his mouth. Continue.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is,
I hadn't even thought about that. That makes sense. Continue.
I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The lieutenant shudders from the cold. Step on the floorboards. It said specifically to watch out about doing this. What happens? Am I going to just hurt myself? It's fine. It's fine. Let's do it.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile.
Definitely. Continue.
You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet.
Oh boy, continue.
He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him.
Step back.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who is this man? What do you think happened here? What should we do with him? Who is this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
He looks south the way you came. I mean, I do just walk over here, as do you because you're following me. But I think, yeah, for normal people, you wouldn't come here. Continue.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
Looks like another old drunkard to me. I think labeling him as an alcoholic is a bit premature. We don't know anything yet. Interestingly, Kim didn't mention labeling him as an alcoholic. That's just me. He knew to use gum to shield, like to make it so it didn't stink like he had been drinking, which meant that this has come up before. Looks like another old drunkard to me.
And he was married.
The lieutenant points at the ring on the old man's left hand, the flesh around it swollen and gray.
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
You're absolutely right. What do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
Probably, unless he fell into the ocean. Could it be related to the lynching? Do you think he was drunk? Pointed the bottle. What about the kebab? Someone should be held responsible for this dangerous boardwalk. This broken boardwalk. It's dangerous, right? Conclude. You think he was drunk?
Oh, yes.
The lieutenant nods. What about alcohol poisoning and liver failure?
Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression, unpredictable behavior.
Right, continue.
But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
Probably. What about the kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
He shrugs. Yeah, fair.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
Well, you gotta ask, though, right? Could it be related to the lynching? A laughable concept, but let's go ahead and bring it up.
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident, unrelated to the murder case.
Right, continue.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
For once, my brain agrees with, the logical approach. Well, it is my logic brain. My logic brain doesn't always speak up. Someone should be held responsible for this broken boardwalk. It's dangerous.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk.
I guess that makes sense. Nobody actually comes here, as you mentioned.
Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
He smiles sourly. Right, conclude.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
Hold on, what about field autopsy? We found him, we should finish this. Let's leave this case for the station. I don't want to spend the time on it. Don't take the case. I still need some time to decide on how I want to solve this case. What about field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me.
It does, yeah, continue.
I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
Yes, but isn't that kind of sloppy? You're right, I don't see anything criminal here. Let's leave it at that. I mean, it is 2 hours of unnecessary work. And time is of the essence, and we're on a different investigation. You're right.
Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest.
Presumably, yes. We found him, we should finish this.
All right. We should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from Mike and Emma. Let them know we are taking the case.
Sounds good. Leave. Let's have a quick look at that library card. I know what time it is. It's fine. Library card. Here it is. Folded library card. A library card found from the pocket of a dead man on the Martinez boardwalk. It's still slightly damp to the touch. The cover bears the stamp of Jamrock Public Library. Let's have a look.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53.
I mean, that does seem to solve the question of who this is. Continue.
Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Well, both possible. Let's look inside.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned.
Huh. So, an avid reader and also conscientious about the books in question. Continue.
Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers, too.
Seems that way. Look at the backside.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours, 900 to 1800.
So they're going to close in less than an hour. Continue.
Good. We should give them a call from Mike and Emma. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
Indeed. He takes a note. Put it away. Great. Great. Okay. Cool. So this is maybe Billy Mejean. Maybe. Oh, boy. Cool. Found a corpse. Just a random corpse. I guess that's the thing that happens around here. Technically, that was mentioned earlier, wasn't it? How corpses just sort of show up on the shores around here, although this one's not on the shore exactly. But corpses are a thing around here, just a fact of life. I'm going to stop now, because, you know, it's been an hour, and also I'm doing this extremely last minute, as seems to be my want lately. But next time, we'll get that reported back to the station, we'll check on the armor again, maybe check out the church. I'm not doing a great deal of work on the main case today, I recognize that, but I feel like I'm just a little bit stuck, because I can't get the information from the Wild Pines rep without pressuring Tommy, which I don't want to do, and I can't get past Measurehead, so I can't see Evrart. Yeah, I feel a little bit stuck over there, but I'm enjoying exploring in the meantime, and hopefully you are too. So thank you for watching. Next time we'll do that stuff I just said, or something like that. I'll see you next time.